What's up, guys? We're here with another episode today of CodeCast, and we got a new panel on the guest. Well, we got a new guest on the panel. Tell the people your name, where you're from. If you go to school, you can say what school you go to, major, and all that little fun stuff if you want to say.
Hi guys, my name is Blessed. I am currently a senior at UNC Charlotte studying psychology with a minor in childhood and family development. And yeah, just trying to graduate and get on with my life. So yeah.
So, tell the people what do you usually do for fun, like around Charlotte?
Honestly, that's a hard question. I don't really do much. I am a homebody. If I do go out, I do love going to the movies, AMC at Concord Meals, going out to different restaurants, trying different food places, anything really. Nothing's very specific. So maybe going to a park, going to the movies, going out to dinner, going to Carowinds, just depends.
Carowinds. I heard of that. What's Carowinds again?
So it's basically a theme park, like a roller coaster park. I don't know if you ever heard of like Six Flags or King's Dominion. So it's basically like big on roller coasters and things of that nature. So yeah.
Okay. Sounds interesting. That's like a Canopy Lake for like the people back at home. Okay. So, what's like the dating market like in Charlotte? Since you go to UNCC.
Maybe I'm biased because I lived here for so long, but I don't prefer it. I've been in Charlotte for a long time, so I just feel like it hasn't gotten any better. I feel like a lot of times people our age aren't really looking for a relationship. They just look for temporary things or quick fun and things of that nature. So it's been quite difficult for me. I've been single for 23 years and I am 23 years old. So I don't know. It's a quite difficult market. But also, you just got to learn how people are, adapt to that setting, and either join them or just go on and do your own thing. So I'm also just be focused on myself and bettering myself until like the right person comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back. Let's backtrack that a little bit. Um, you said it's kind of like so. Explain like the people you meet then. Like, yeah.
Okay. So the people I meet, so at first I wasn't a fan of dating apps, but after a while I got interested in it just because I feel like with face to face and things of that nature, it's hard to meet people face to face sometimes. Why not? Because I feel like sometimes guys, even if they do look at you, they aren't confident in approaching you. So for me, I just felt like, well, maybe I can go to a different setting. So I did dating apps. I'm sure people have heard of Tinder and Hinge and all that. I feel like certain apps were created to actually date and be there for relationships to be created, but they became something else. So people, like I said, want temporary pleasure, so like sexual things, hookups, and things of that nature. So for me, a lot of times that's what I see that men may want from me. So yeah, that's a lot of what I get. Even if I explain that's not what I want or like give them the whole talk and things like that, it's still their end goal a lot of the times. I won't say every guy is like that, but the massive majority of what I've been introduced to has been that way. So for me personally, that's what I feel like a lot of guys want.
I feel like so. I know on those apps you gotta put like bios and stuff. So,
Right, right,
what
right.
would be like the things you would put on the bio so they would like kind of know like how to navigate through it?
I think that's so cheesy, the bio thing. Okay, so in my bio, I think my bios might be all the same, but one I just put that I've been single. One of the main things I put is that I'm not looking for a FWB or a fuck with buddy, and I'm interested in actually getting to know people. So yeah, I just try to be straight up and let them know when they see my bio, I'm not on this type of
Wait, what do you say?
mentality.
FWB. What the hell does that stand for?
Fuck with buddy.
That was friends with benefits.
Oh no, okay, that too. Okay, look, friends with benefits, or a fuck with buddy.
All right. So that's what you usually put on. So like, no.
No FWB.
Mm,
So I say I've been single for such and such time. I'm looking to get to know someone or potentially dating or whatever, but I'm not looking to just have fun sexually wise.
all right. Um, with that being said, so like, how do guys? So when guys come and approach you in that manner on those apps, and they see that, do they still like?
They think they can convince me.
Yeah. Like, how does that work?
So they'll come and say, "Hey, how are you? Or you're beautiful." This, that, and the third. Okay, we have a conversation. And then quickly I know what they're looking for because they'll say, you want to meet up at my place or can I come over to your place? And I'm just like, whoa, 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 slow down. You don't know me yet. Like, I can't just welcome you to my house. But that's typically one of the flags or like signals that go off in my head. Like, they're so quick to want to be in my space. And a lot of people would say, like, oh no, it's not even that. Like, I'm not trying to have sex. Da, da, da. Whatever happens, happens. Their favorite line. Those kind of things are just already signal to me because I don't know. When I being raised by my parents, they always told me if a guy was actually interested in you, they would court you and they would take the extra mile to take you on a date or actually get to know you on a personal level. It wouldn't always be something made to be physical or intimate. So that's kind of what I've always wanted because it's what's been engraved in me for how I should be treated by a man. So like a lot of times when guys say certain things, in my head I'm already knowing what they really want. But sometimes I feel myself giving men the benefit of the doubt because I always feel like everyone should get a fair chance. So I give them that, and I'm always, I don't know, I always get disappointed. But I can't completely blame them though because I feel like even when I know what they want, I still entertain it and try to convince myself that it's something more. So
So you kind of play the delusional card with yourself.
right, exactly.
All right. So explain courting a little bit, like to people that really don't know.
I feel like the definition of courting has definitely changed, especially compared to like older generations and like our current generation. So like I would say like during my parents' day and age, or even like our grandparents, when you courted someone, you were basically getting to know them and doing things and trying to wed them. So you wanted that person to be your future fiance or your wife or husband in the future. Nowadays, when I say courting, I feel like the intentions are still the same. You wanted that person to be your significant other, but I feel like in this day of age, that's too strong of a word sometimes because when people hear courting, they get freaked out and they're like, "Oh my God, getting married and this and the third. Like, this is too much right now. We're so young." So I wouldn't even say courting today. I would just say dating with intent. So I feel like sometimes when people do things with the opposite sex or when they're trying to approach someone romantically, they don't do it thoroughly because when they're scared. I feel like a lot of people in our generation are scared of commitment, and I don't know if that's because of what we see in the media, what's publicized, and things like of that nature. But I feel like we tend to run away from commitment, and we only want the temporary thing because we feel like it's easy to get. I feel like sometimes when a man or female feel like it's hard for them to get a person like that, they don't want to put in that effort to continue to pursue that person. They rather go the easy route and get the temporary thing instead of taking the extra mile to earn that person. So
It's always interesting because when I hear people say like what you call they're like we're afraid of commitment in this generation. It's kind of I don't know because I have like mixed emotions about that because some of the stuff like how people say like oh this generation like we emphasize on cheating or emphasize on all this other stuff and not being with their partner or whatever. It's kind of it's very interesting in that manner because when you talk to like let's say like our parents or you know great grandparents, grandparents, and you hear some of the stories they would say, like, you know what I mean? If you get that, like, I don't know, like that guy to guy talk or that girl on girl talk, you would hear some of the stuff they were saying is like, damn, like the stuff that we're doing right now, they were definitely doing back then too.
definitely, yeah.
But I just think it's like more into the light because it's like social media and it's like just easier to see. It's more in our face now. So it's like for me, I was like, I really don't know if it's like our generation, but it's definitely more like it's definitely just more in our face now, and it's just like you definitely could say it's easier to what you call it for like let's say for example, for like a girl to find a guy, because they're always there. It's gonna be yapping right in the DMs and yapping all over the place. You get what I'm saying? So it's very interesting in that manner. But so what's some of the stuff you would see like you would want from a guy? Like actually, let's go back from this. So you say that guys are less like not confident going up.
Right.
You're saying. So why do you think that?
That is a great question. The answer that I do not have. Um, I don't know. I feel like some might lack the confidence, or some might already have it in their head that she probably wouldn't be interested in me, or like some might be afraid of embarrassment or getting rejected. Or maybe he just didn't feel like she was worth being approached, you know? So
Yeah.
it just depends on the situation. Sometimes if a girl's with her group of friends, then a guy might be more hesitant because they might not want to be rejected in front of her group of friends or ridiculed, or, it could be different things. It just depends.
Yeah, I mean, you guys like. I feel like every single group has like that one cock blocking friend though. Like, not real shit. Because it's like I've seen it. I've seen it happen. It happened to me before.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like I ain't even trying to talk to your ass. Like, move along. I'm trying to talk to your friend. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, like the friend will be feeling you or whatever. And next thing you know, buddy over there wants to come over and like, oh no, she's okay. Like, for what? Like, damn, like we're just having a conversation. You're over here just trying to mess stuff up. So like, talk like, why do girls do that though?
It could be multiple reasons. A reason can be they seen a red flag that I didn't see. So I feel like there's always in a woman's friend group, there's always a girl or multiple that see certain things that we don't see. So maybe she's seen him acting a certain way towards a certain girl, or the way he carries himself, or had an interaction with somebody, and they see him come up to your friend, and you're probably like, oh no, like I seen such and such, such, or I know this and that and the third. Like I don't want my friend to be put in that situation. It could be a protective thing, or sometimes people might have friends that are jealous and they feel like they wanted that attention that he's giving you. It just depends. I feel like for my friend group that I have currently, they're not cop blockers at all. And honestly, they want me to explore and want me to be happy and things of that nature. And if they feel like I'm ever in a situation where they feel like it's not good for me, they feel like someone is trying to get over on me, then they'll let me know. But they wouldn't make a scene about it. Yeah.
All right. What artists you listen to? What music you listen to?
I listen to a lot of different music. I don't have a favorite artist. I
Mm.
just love music in general. I feel like if it's good music, I'm gonna listen to it. I love R&B. I love old school R&B. I love hip hop. I love rap. Anything basically.
All
The
right.
genre I listen least to is country, but it's just because I don't have. No, it's just because like I feel like I haven't really explored that genre a lot, or it's not something that, at least around the people I hang out around, it's not a specific genre that's played a lot. But I feel like certain country music I do know. And it's not like I'm trying to turn my nose against it or anything, but that's just the least genre currently that I listen to. But yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll turn my nose to that.
No, there's some good songs.
You're not gonna listen to me here. Like, you're not gonna ever hear me like listen to like Luke Wallen or whatever his name is. Like, nah. Like, the only country song I really know is probably like Big Green Tractor. I don't know like how that really goes, but I just heard the remix. I'm like, oh, shit, it kind of knocks.
No, some
But
of it be good though. Some of them are bangers. You just
nah,
gotta know.
I ain't none of that shit. I'm from the city. I ain't listen to no country music. Nah.
Oh my god.
So what's a city girl? What's your definition of a city girl?
Oh my god. A city girl. Why are you asking me this question?
No, I'm just asking. I think people want to know.
Um, it just depends. I feel like there's many different definitions, just depending on how that woman embodies the definition. So a city girl could be someone who, of course, lives in the city, loves the city life, loves the liveness, loves going out, having fun, turning up, doing whatever she wants to do. Of course, a lot of people see it in a provocative way. So women just not really caring, doing whatever she wants with men, with her friends, dress however they want. Not really caring, not really giving a care about what other people are thinking, just enjoying life and having fun. But from there, people are able to add their own definitions or make it fit whatever life they're living at that point.
All right, so that's your definition of city girl.
Yeah,
All right, what's your definition of a hot girl then?
I'm a hot girl. No, so like a hot girl, someone just is like that's bad. Like she a bad girl. She is beautiful, gorgeous. She has a certain type of energy about herself that the room is drawn to. She has fun, life of the party. Um, just a hot girl. You'll know a hot girl when you see a hot girl.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out the difference. People want like I hear a hot
Hot
girl and a city
girl.
girl. I'm like, I don't even know. Like,
Hot girl.
so,
She outside. She in the heat.
so
She
you be
out-
outside is what you're saying.
I didn't say that.
You said you're a hot girl.
I am currently. I said earlier that people can change the definition to fit their own lifestyle.
City
I'm a
girl.
hot girl inside.
All right, we'll give you that. I mean, yeah, we will give you that, I guess. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So, what are some of the things? All right. Do you have certain questions you ask on a date?
On a date.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on the vibe I get. I feel like the person is giving me the energy of where I can be open and ask them questions, then I will. If it's given like a very tight environment or like not really open, I'll try to ask questions, but if they're not really giving much, I'm not going to press them about it. Just having like basic general conversation. So I guess like some of the general questions I'll ask is where the person's from, about the relationship with their parents, if they have any siblings, their current occupation, or if they have a job, or if they're in school, what they look to do in their future. Just the gist of a person, just the basic stuff.
All right. All right. All right. Because I always feel like, what I saw on Twitter the other day was you need 3 questions to ask on a date. And I always thought about that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So it's
At least three
like 3 main ones you should
main
ask.
questions.
Yeah. And it was very interesting because I remember I saw on one of my guys' Twitter. He actually posted it, and he's older. He's like probably it's like 30s, 40s, and it made sense because I remember I was like reading the thread and all that stuff. It was basically saying like there's just certain things you just need to know. You get what I'm saying? So it's like one example. Like let's say he just for whatever reason he meets someone, right? He said, all right, like do you have any kids? Like that's one of his ones. Occupations, another one that's like the one like 3 or 4. And another one is does he have to worry about anyone coming in the picture randomly? Like just like little things like that. And I'm like, oh my god, like he's actually up to something. You know what I mean? So it's like those like just having a 3 questions in your pocket just to make sure like it will help you out later in the long run. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, if I get these 3 questions and 2 to 3 is like, oh hell no, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Right.
Like I'm already knowing like that date's gonna go by slow. Like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like nah, I can't do that. Like, but so if you had to create your own 3 questions, like your top 3 questions to ask on a date, what would they be?
Honestly, I don't know what order I would put them in, but I'll give you three top questions that I would ask. Um, okay, so one of the questions, it might sound like a weird question, but I promise you, you never know what you ask. One of the questions I would ask is, are you single? The reason I say this is because just because a person's on a dating app or just because a person asks you out on a date, this, that, and the third, does not necessarily mean you're single or they're single. Some people automatically assume that because the person is seeking something. But you can't assume things because then you can get tied into certain things that you weren't expecting. Some people might say they have an open relationship or their partner doesn't care if they go mess with other people. They might be married and you just don't know. You just never know. And people might think that's like a funny or weird question, but I'm sure you've probably heard stories or you can ask people about stories of where they were put in a situation and they didn't know that someone else was involved.
Yeah, some people be having like second families and all, like a
Right.
whole hidden family.
With
You wouldn't
kids
even
and
know.
stuff. And like some people won't, they're not going to put that stuff on their dating app profile and things like that. Like they're not going to just put it up there and they're not going to volunteer that information unless you ask. And I feel like when you're face to face with a person and you ask straight up, I feel like if you ask them face to face, it's different when you ask them over the phone because when you're face to face, you can read a person's energy, you can see how they react to the question and things of that nature. So I feel like that's an important question to ask. Another question. I'm big on family, and family relationships just because I am a family girl. I was raised by four parents, so it's just important to me. So I definitely would ask their relationship with their parents, their mother and their father, because I feel like those two roles are important in someone's life.
Yeah.
And even if that person wasn't fortunate to have both parents, I still just want to know a little bit of the background. I'm not big on judging someone. I just would rather know their story and just like what their life entailed or like how they were raised, because I feel like how a person is raised and brought up is very important and it affects their character. So that would be one of my questions. And the third question I would ask, this is hard. Um, so I would say what their career goals are. So what they see themselves, what they see their life like in the next 5 to 10 years. Because I feel like sometimes we get so stuck in the now, we forget about our future and what we want to become, and also the legacy we want to build for our family to come in the future. So just knowing that they do have plans, even if it's not laid out perfectly. I feel like a person who is willing to work or at least has some type of goal, I feel like that's a person that, you can work with. Someone who at least is motivated to do something with their life.
So one thing I realized, like on dates, like I will have to ask, like, what's the red flag straight up, right to their face, like I'm being so serious because like sometimes like people just look at you crazy, like what, like nah, you heard what I said. It's like nah, like what's your red flags? You know what I mean? Because just some stuff is like all right, like you just don't want to deal with, like men and women. You know what I'm saying? It's like
That's true.
just certain things like all right, like this is just a red flag. You don't want to deal with it and just get out the way. So, what are your top three like red flags if you see someone do or hear them hear what they say? Like, what are like your top three reasonings for like nah, I can't deal with this.
So you're saying like what are three red flags that I've noticed in a person that I don't want to deal with?
Yeah.
Um, it's a great question. This should be easy for me. Um, I would say someone that constantly keeps false promises. So that's one of the things that I've noticed a lot for me personally. So someone saying that they would do something but constantly falling through with it. I don't like that because that also shows me that if you're so easy to fall through with something and you're not able to stick with something, then what makes me think that you can commit to somebody. So just even if it's something small, constantly falling through with something, it just lets me know like this person has issues with commitment. And I just don't, I don't really like that because I feel like for me, if I say that I'm going to do something or commit to something, I'm going to follow through with it unless an emergency happens and I really just can't do it. But also, it's not even that my issue that it falls through, it's the lack of communication that you can't do something anymore. So I've been put in situations where someone would say, we can do this on this date at this time. Gets to that date, gets to that time. I'm asking, hey, are we still doing this? And it's like, oh, actually, I'm so sorry. I can't do it anymore. So things like that, like that's one of the red flags that I just don't like because it just aggravates me. Because one, I know like I'm not a half. Can I curse on here?
Yeah. Half-ass person.
Yeah, I'm not a half-ass person when it comes to certain things, or in me being interested in a person. So I don't like when a person is half-assing, trying to win me. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things I don't like. Or red flags. Another one. Someone that's nonchalant. That's really one of my biggest pet peeves. Someone that's nonchalant, so someone who constantly gives off this energy that they don't care. Because for me, you have to show me that you care. Because I don't want to have to constantly worry if you do care or if you are if you care about my emotions or how I feel or how I'm doing in life and things like that, because I deal with shit internally and just like anyone else. But I feel like a lot of times people or guys to keep this like cool persona and things like that, they don't really try to delve deep into deep conversations or really show that they care for someone. And it can hurt and make someone feel like they're alone. And I don't feel like guys just do that. I feel like women can do that too to men and be very nonchalant and not really care about how a man is feeling or how his day was. And I don't like that because a person should feel like they're cared about and like their voice is heard and they have someone in their corner to help them through whatever they're going through. So I would say nonchalantness. And the third one, someone that is just I would say, okay, there you go. People who aren't planners or like, okay, so I'm gonna explain what I'm meaning.
Okay.
So when I mean people who aren't planners, so say a guy comes, he says he's interested in me, and wants to pursue me. He says that, but he doesn't show that. And what I'm meaning is he doesn't take the time to plan a date, plan a time to coordinate, see me, say, hey, you want to do this, that, and the third. It really is just like you're
Oh,
half
it's more like, oh, what you trying to do?
right. Like you
Okay, I
don't
get what you're
really.
saying.
It's like or it could be a last minute thing, or
Yeah.
they hit you up at 10 p.m., 11 noon. They don't really plan anything, and that also makes me feel like you're not really trying to win me or like date me. I feel like now you have an ulterior motive because you haven't shown me or done anything to make me feel otherwise. And I feel like a lot of men get frustrated when women say, you just want to have sex with me, this, that, and the third. You don't really care. You're not really trying to get to know me. But I feel like some don't recognize it's because you're not doing anything to prove otherwise. So,
Yeah, I'll get back to that. So for me, my red flag. Oh my god, number one has to be if you're talking like a nigga. Oh my god, that's number one. I can't do it. I don't know how people can do it. I can't. Me personally, I can't.
what's talking like a nigga?
You talking like me? Fuck, I want to talk to another guy for what the
No, what
hell?
I'm saying,
Like,
like, what is talking like a nigga? Like, how does a woman, what do you mean?
if I could talk, if I'm talking, having a conversation with you, and I could close my eyes, and the shit you're saying sounds like a nigga, like it sounds like another nigga talking to me with a girl's voice. Like I'm good. Like nah, bro, what the fuck you got going on? Like what? Like hold on. Like oh, back up, back up, back up. Like nah, act like a lady. You know what I'm saying? Like nah, one, I can't do that. I don't know how people could do it. For me, I really can't. Two has to be can't cook, can't cook, can't do it, can't be with you. Nope, red flag automatically to the curb you go. Three, I don't know. Like three is hard because I got a good list too. Three, so those are my name. Those are my main two. I'm being so serious. Like talk like a nigga and you can't cook at that. Like you're just making chicken Alfredo every week or some shit like that. Like oh yeah, I made you chicken. Like, I don't. You gotta go.
I don't like that.
Three, acting like they got no daddy or something. Like I'm like all right, like for example, like you just out here just shaking ass on Instagram, not like you know what I mean, just like little shit like that. Cause it's like I know if I want to take someone serious or like all right, like I could mess with this person in some way, in some fashion, but out here just like you know what I mean, just like doing that stuff. It's like yeah, you can go have fun, but like I don't know if I like you know what I mean. It's like yeah, it's whatever. You could go have fun. You probably like I could have fun with that person, but for a long period of time, I just can't see myself doing it because it's you know what I'm
Right.
saying. Like everyone's gonna see the shit. You know what happens when you go on the internet and you
Right.
post that stuff because let's be real, we all know what kind of attention that brings in. You feel me? So it's like, why would I want to do that myself? And now I'm like, all right, I'm like, oh no, I don't fuck with that shit. And now it's like, oh, like you either may get like a they stop or it's like a oh you was pursuing me when I was doing it. Now you're here. Now it's a problem. Like, duh. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. But you don't want to even get put yourself in those situations that you get to that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this is a whole different problem you don't want to deal with and all that stuff. And to even like tie that back into the stuff you were saying, like, oh, like let's say like the part you said, the hidden motive there, your number three was um people, like, guys not like treating you in the manner that you want it to be treated. But it's like, do you think that has to do with what the girl does as well though?
What do you mean?
So let's say you're like, all right, like this guy doesn't let's say they only hit you up like late at night, or it's another one, like they're not planning stuff that you want to be planned and all that, just like doing the stuff that you don't, that you wish they would do. You know what I mean? They're like, they're half-assing or stuff like that. Do you think they're doing that purposely? Like, there's people that do it purposely, of course, but do you think there's like that could be from your doings as well, or a girl's doings?
Um, it just depends on the situation. So, I don't know, and it also depends on the conversation you have with that person. Um, I feel like if you automatically judge a girl based on what she posts and things like that, you're not necessarily taking the time to get to know that girl. Not saying that, okay, if she's constantly posting provocative things, then okay, like a man has every right to not find that attractive. Not saying that you have to, but I feel like sometimes social media is all it is social media. And of course, you're trying to get certain attention, but I feel like people also have their lives off of social media. So everything is a conversation. So, firstly, I feel like if you're just getting to know that person, I feel like the judgmental things, like if you're instantly just judgmental, like you're just judging a person so hard and you're not getting to know them, then I feel like you didn't leave them room to show you who they really are. You don't know why they post certain things. You don't really know much about that person. But like I said, every person is different. So you might be like, oh, I don't care. Like, I don't even want to have a conversation because she's doing this, that, and third. That's your personal opinion.
Yeah.
That's what you choose. But I'm just saying, it just depends. Because certain things that a guy may post, or as far as regarding women, or like how they view certain situations, like a woman might feel a type of way about that guy and be like, oh, why does he feel this type of way, and why is it this double standard, and things of that nature. But I feel like people don't really have or take the time to have a conversation and get to understand why a person might act a certain way, why their mind might be a certain way, and things of that nature. Things could be easier, things could be understood with the conversation. And I feel like so, a lot of times we just write people off so instantly, we don't give them that chance. And not saying that you have to, but that's just more how I am. I don't instantly write people off unless they're doing something that I'm just like completely like, it had like really ridiculously crazy. Literally. So off the wall stuff, then I'm about like, okay, no. But if it's something that I'm just like, okay, that's interesting that you posted this, or that you feel this way, or like, tell me why, or like, you know what I'm saying? But that's just me. I like to have conversations. I like to get to know people's life story. I want to know what makes you tick, what makes you get upset, what makes you sad. Like, I want to know because, I don't know. Some things having a conversation could change a person's can change that thing that you might not like about a person. You can have a conversation with a girl and say like, why do you post this and the third? Tell me about it. And that conversation maybe can spark something in their own head and make them say like, you know what? Why do I do this? You never know.
So it's like, if I go to a girl, like let's say I'm having a conversation with a girl, like, why do you post your ass out?
But listen, it's also about how you say it because you
No,
can
you gotta
come
be blunt. No,
off.
you gotta be blunt. You gotta go straight up with it. Like, you can't sugarcoat that.
No, listen, because some people can be. Sometimes when people say things, they can come off as trying to be funny.
Try to be funny. How I'm
You're trying to
literally.
be funny.
That's like saying, oh no, like why? Like, I just can't see a guy like, oh no, why do you like? Because if you ask a girl like, why do you post those pictures like that? There's like, it's gonna go one or two ways. They might give you the answer. Like, it most likely it's gonna sound bogus as hell. I'm not hearing that. But the other ones is like, that was your problem, stuff like that.
It depends. It depends on, like I said, a lot of people aren't mature enough to have that conversation, and they'll tell you all you need to know.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's not easy for everyone to have a conversation, but that can also tell you a little more about themselves. Maybe they feel insecure about describing it, and maybe they feel bad at themselves about posting it. You never know. You never know what they experienced in their childhood that makes them feel like they have to be extra explicit. You never know if people really didn't have a father in their life and they feel like they're seeking male attention, and in order to get that attention, they post certain things. You never know a person's life story, and I feel like we're instantly.
So there's just red flags just to stay away. Those are just red flags to stay away. Then it's something you just don't want to deal with.
For you, it might be, yeah.
Oh, I don't
From
know.
others, they might. For other men, they might be like, they might try to talk to that person, like I said, or try to understand them and like get them to know you don't have to do that. And like, it's a, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends on somebody's mentality, the maturity.
What's your opinion? What's your thought on the phrase "you can't turn a hoe to a housewife"?
First of all, I feel people say stuff is so stupid as hell. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, oh my God. What do you mean by a housewife? What does that mean for y'all?
Well, you can't. All right, like I was just saying, like like you can't turn a hoe to a wife.
A man could be a hoe too. So can we turn a guy that's a hoe into a husband?
Say that one more time.
When people hear the word hoe, they automatically assume it's a woman. But men can be hoes too. So that does that mean that we can't turn him into a husband?
You're getting on the knee and asking the guy to marry you.
No, I'm not, but still.
All right, so
It doesn't matter. The woman still has to say yes.
yeah, I know. But you're not. It's not like you're turning that man into a husband. I mean, if you
A
guys,
woman, okay, so
I mean, I kind of get what I get what you're saying here. It's like they have to say, like, it obviously takes two to tango. Like they both have to agree.
yeah, a woman very much plays her part in a husband wife scenario just as much as the man does. So I know that the men typically proposes to the women. That's the traditional way.
Hmm.
But I feel like also a woman adds to a man. So I feel like that's another thing with these double standards. I feel like people are so quick to put these labels on women and say like, oh, she's this and that, she's a hoe, she's always posting explicit stuff, this and the third, she can never be a wife. But it's like, okay, but on the other hand, the man might be doing these same things, so what makes him better? Just because he gets down on one knee and actually does the act of proposing? Because any man can propose, that doesn't mean he's the best man or that he's doing everything that he needs to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true. But I'm just asking you, what's your opinion on that
But
phrase?
like I said, I feel like I don't like the phrase.
Do you think the phrase is false?
Um, Depends on the circumstance. I mean, depends on if the woman wants to be a wife. If she doesn't want that lifestyle, then she can do what she wants to do. But I feel like everybody has a past. Everybody has a people live a certain life when they're in high school, when they're in college, when they grow up. Just depends on, like I said, their circumstances, what made them want to do what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like
Make them
anybody,
do wait. What do you mean? Like make them do what?
whatever it is that's considered making someone a hoe.
Okay.
What's your definition of a hoe?
If she's getting fucked, she's a hoe.
What does
Like
getting fucked mean? Like,
getting penetrated. Like like
I
penis
know
and like
that, but you
birds and the
said it
bees.
like there's a specific like
I mean,
definition.
like multiple. Like if she's getting around with multiple, like a good amount of multiple people. That's in my opinion. Like, oh yeah, she's a hoe. Like, I mean, like, let's say like there's verbal hoes. There's like a verbal hoe for me is just like someone that just like talks. You know what I mean? Like they may not do stuff, but they're just like talking. That's like flirting with multiple people, stuff like that. And then for me, just like being a hoe is just like, let's say she could be a verbal hoe and she's being a physical. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's on her knees sucking dick, like crazy, doing some wild stuff. Multiple people, like,
But
you
a
know,
lot of those women who've done that are married.
with a lot of people. Like I'm saying, with a lot of people.
Like people who had that lifestyle, who retired their lifestyle, they're married. A lot of people that we know that are celebrities are married that were known for doing things of that nature,
Yeah, and they don't last.
or they can last. It just depends on if that person is willing to change to be able to succeed in their marriage. I don't feel like you should just write people off based on their past or what they're doing currently. Like, if you don't want to deal with a person because you know and they're willingly telling you, like, this is just what I'm going to do, I am a hoe, I'm just going to do this stuff, then okay, cool. But I feel like you can't write everybody off, because I feel like, who are you to judge somebody? Who are you to judge somebody? Who are you to
It's
write
not
somebody?
really it's not really judging, but you're just like, all right, like you know what comes with that. It's like, do you really want to deal with that?
So should a woman have a same mindset regarding a man?
It's up to them if they want to. But it's just I just know like you said, it's double standards. Like life is different. Like you could get by with certain situations because you're a girl, and I can't because I'm a guy, and vice versa.
I
Like
feel like a lot of times, like, the make a whole wife, that honestly feel like it's childish. That's just my opinion. I feel like it's childish. I feel like
how so though?
a woman can never win. If a woman is not sexist, like, if she doesn't explore a lot of things sexually, if she is a virgin, if she doesn't have a first kiss, it's, oh, she's this, she's that, she's not experienced. I don't want to deal with the girl who's not experienced. I don't want to take the virginity of a woman. She's this, she's that, she's, whatever. If she is sexually active and she does this and the third, it's, oh my gosh, she knows too much sexually. She's all out in these streets, this and the third. She's a hoe. You can't make a hoe a wife, this and the third. I feel like a woman can never win. I feel like no matter what we do, no matter how we look, how we dress, if we stay virgins for a while, if we have sex for a while, it's never going to be good enough. So I feel like that's a lot of times why women now,
That's kind of debatable, but
eh, for you. But I feel like me being a woman, I feel like a lot of times when we feel like we can't win any way it can go, we say fuck it. Then we're just gonna do what we want to do. You either take it or you don't take it. And I just kind of feel like that's where a lot of women are at now. I feel like there's so much pressure on women, and specifically black women. So now you might see now a lot more explicit things, or like people are saying female rappers are way more explicit or more provocative, things like that. And I think,
yeah,
yeah, but I think in a lot of ways, it's just because in some way we're taking back the power that we have given so much to men.
what do you mean taking back the power? Elaborate on that a little bit.
So like I said,
Wait, so talking provocative, like rapping about like all that stuff. That's it.
right.
Taking back power is what you're saying.
If a man can rap about it, glorify it, rap about it, his music, get money off of it, why can't a woman talk about her own body that a man is talking about? What's that issue?
I'm not saying it's an issue. I'm just asking.
So yeah, if a man can talk about our body explicitly, degrade us, call us a bitch, a hoe, say what they're gonna do to us sexually, then what's the problem of us talking about about our own body, or things sexually or explicitly? What's that issue? Like, why can't we do it if a man is doing it? They're rapping about us, so why can't we rap about it?
No, I'm just asking your opinion. That's all.
So yeah, I just feel like, what's that issue? Like, I don't know. I feel like men want us to act a certain way, or they feel entitled to us a certain way, and a lot of times they want to hush us or put us in this bubble. But when we branch out and get out of that bubble and say fuck this and fuck that, and break the norms or what it's supposed to be or supposed to mean to be a woman and how we should carry ourselves and things like that, then it's, oh no, she's this, she's that, she can't be a wife, she's not that or that. I just feel like now at this point we can't do anything right, so I feel like a lot of women just say fuck it, like, we just gonna do what we do. You either like it or you don't like it, and that's just that.
All right. So let's say down the line, let's say you're married, right?
Yeah.
And just say like you're like 40, 50s, right? And you have a son, and your son's he's like, oh yeah, like I'm about to marry this girl. He comes home, he's like, yeah, this girl, da da da, like I love her and all this stuff. And then when you meet her, it's like, oh shit, like you know what I mean? It's like girls know what other girls are. You know what I mean? you guys are what you call it, social. You guys are what you call it, better socially than guys, 110% by far. So you guys could read like really read someone off rip as soon as they come in, especially if it's another female. You feel me? And let's say he's like, yeah, this girl, like, let's say you figured out like she had like probably say like 2 trains, 3 trains ran on her, like she had a very provocative past and all that stuff. You'll be okay with like your son marrying her.
You said past, so it's not present. That's what you said.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah.
Um, would I be okay with my son marrying her? Honestly, it just depends on their relationship, the conversations that they had. It just depends. I feel like it's not that easy just to say no to. Like, a lot goes into my son wanting to marry somebody, and I feel like he has his reasonings. And of course, I would have that conversation with him and get to know what it is about this girl that makes you want to marry her. If he confides in me about these things about her past, then I would listen to him and hear his point of view about it, and even communicate with the girl about it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that conversation, or the way you painted it, is not as black and white as it seems. And I feel like it's just, I feel like for women, a lot of times we're able to not judge a man based on his past, or even like try to work with the man despite his past. So I feel like, why can't we do that same in return for a woman? So yeah, it just really depends. It depends on the conversation. And honestly, the conversation that I have with him one on one, the conversation that I have with her one on one, and then collectively as a whole with her parents and things like that. Like, it's just not going to be like a, oh no, like automatically no. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the type to write off a person like that. So, like I said, I'm more of a conversationalist, and I want to know. I want to know the past, and I want to know why the situation happened. Like,
Why her situation happened?
I mean, yeah. Even if, like, maybe if she's willing to talk to me about it, like, I don't feel like she owes me everything, like, because
Yeah, but this is your son you're talking about now. Like,
yeah,
this is long term. Like, this is like death do us part.
yeah, like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, I know,
All right.
but I do still feel like a conversation. Rightfully so. I feel like when I have a son, I raise my son, and based on my own beliefs and things like that, my son feel like this girl is someone who wants to marry. Then I would talk to him about it and get to know why he wants to marry this girl. What is it about her, and have that deep conversation with him. I'm not going to just say to my son, no, you can't marry her because she did this in the past, and she did this in the past, and this and the third. I'm not cold-hearted. I'm not just going to say no like that.
But
Like,
do you think her past would definitely jeopardize his future?
what do you mean jeopardize his future? In what way?
It could be anyway.
Like I said, it just depends on the conversation, the circumstance at that time. I can't give you a definite answer because you never know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's said in the future, so we don't know.
We don't know.
No, we don't know.
We don't know how long ago these trains happened. We don't know at what age he's proposing to this girl. We don't know.
Shit, you're better than me. I would slap my shit, slap the shit on my son. Like, what the hell you got going on? Like, smarting up.
And that's your opinion. So you're entitled to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just depends. I feel like people have different journeys and walks throughout their lives. People definitely make stupid decisions, have dumb mistakes, do things that they probably regret themselves as life goes on, and people work on themselves and try to change and do things to become a better person. And I feel like at any age a person can change and want better for them. And I feel like everybody has a different walk in life. And if you feel like you're willing to walk with that person wherever you meet them at, then you really have to do that self and soul searching to ensure that you'll be okay with that, or you're willing to accept that person. Because if you say that you want to marry that person, then you're telling me you accept that person at where they're at currently. So that's why I'm saying, like, I wouldn't just write it off or like condemn him for wanting to marry this girl. Like, I feel like he has a reasoning. Marriage is not something light and something easy decision made. So I'm not going to just be like, oh no, you can't marry this girl because at such and such time, such and such happened. Like who am I to condemn this girl?
You're his mother.
I know I'm the mother, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like people get so entitled to condemn someone or feel like they're holier than thou and this, that, and the third. And
Yeah, if they're acting like that in that demeanor, then yeah, that's different.
I'm not going to do that. I'm like, you saying, like, I'm going to slap my son and da 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 da.
Yeah, because I like. I mean, I'm
Be
asking
for
for
real.
your. Yeah, I am
You
being
going to
for
slap
real.
your son.
Why wouldn't I? I definitely would have raised him better. Like what? Like to me, that's just
So,
crazy.
so, okay. So, because you're saying in the past the woman had a train ran on her, and what else did you say? She had multiple trains ran on her, and what else you said?
I said, what else I'd say? Trains. It's like a very provocative pass.
Very provocative past. Okay, and say so. It don't matter how much time has passed since then. You still would say no.
Yeah, I'm saying no.
Okay, that's fair. So then, what about your daughter dealing with the man
Dealing with a man.
and say that he was very provocative and he was the one doing the trains with the women and things like that and being very provocative?
I'll tell her like I would be straight up with my daughter like 110%.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't lie to her. I'm like, all right, like if that's what like if that's his past, like you gotta look at what else. What is he doing for you? What is he capable of providing with? Does he make you feel safe? Is he capable? Like did he vet the certain way? Because I'm gonna teach my daughters like, hey, like you're not gonna be doing this. Whatever culture we're in right now, like I'm very more kind of on the old school side of stuff in a sense, more traditional side of things. So is he taking care of you? Is he doing all the right things at home? Is there being like is he making sure like all your needs are met? All this other stuff, and we'll just go from there. And I'll talk to her about it. We'll go through the whole entire situation. Talk to him because I always have to talk to him because he's dating my daughter. All the different type of stuff. Like I know it's always like really double standard. Like I said, you get through hoops that I can't get through, and I could get through hoops that you can't get through at times, vice versa. And with her, I'll just be like, I'll be straight up, like, hey, like, is it going to be possible that you might find someone that hit it doing those stuff? Maybe, but maybe might be not be the right person that you like, the person that you want, or capable of doing things that you want them to do. So it's a give or take. It's hard to do. It's hard to deal with, and it's like kind of being one side in the sense of how people look at it, but it's real life. You know what I'm saying? Like I have no problem saying it.
So I feel like the same grace that you're willing to give that man or have that conversation with your daughter, I feel like should be the same grace you're willing to give your son.
No,
I do.
no,
I do.
no possible way. No.
I do.
So you're telling me I'm gonna be okay with my son dating, like, wifing up a whore that might ruin the marriage?
And you're okay with your daughter wifing up a whore that might ruin their marriage.
I'm no, because I'll be talking to them. I'm gonna explain to them and all this other stuff. Like
Why can't you talk to your son and explain to him?
about what?
The same conversation you're going to have with your daughter.
Yeah, that what you call it, like girl had like she's okay with like demoralizing herself in that manner.
And the man is as well.
How is he demoralized? Is he demoralizing himself or is he demoralizing someone else?
Why can't it be both?
How would he be demoralizing himself?
So, okay, so what is it? What is it? Why do you feel like a man can be out there sexually, be provocative, and do what he wants, and be okay to have a conversation with it or go about his day? But when a woman does it, you're quick to write her off. What is it? Why is that? Why's your mindset that way?
Like I said, double standards in life. That's like I didn't make it. I'm not the one that says, "Oh yeah, this is how it is." Da, da, da. Like, no, I'm not the one that makes the rules with it. I'm just like playing with the game with it. So, for example, if he's doing that shit, then he clearly has to be he's doing something right. Because no, like what you call it, no one's gonna be possible to just do like no random guy is gonna be able to just to do that shit. Hell no, like no possible way. So he has to be coming with some type of package. You're like, all right, like this is who I am. You're gonna deal with me. Da da da. Like I had like it's certain things that comes with that if he's capable of doing that shit. And if it's a girl, it's like you guys have it easy already. Like you could literally go on the street right now and be like, hey, I'm trying to fuck. There's gonna be at least 80 guys. I'm like, all right, yo, what's up? Like, da da da, all this other shit. If a nigga goes on the street and says, oh, I want to fuck, like what? Like have you went to a club before?
Yeah.
You could go to a club with no money in your pockets. Have you done that before?
No.
You haven't? Okay. Well, but you can literally go to, but you know you can.
Okay.
And you'd be perfectly fine. If a nigga goes into the club with no money, it's like, what the fuck? Like, you're just getting kicked out. So it's like, he has to be doing something right. If that girl's over here just like, fuck it, like, I'm just gonna let anyone have my body and all this stuff, it's like, why? Like, for me, it's like, you don't want to, for me, I don't want my son to be in that predicament. And then there's a higher chance of divorce happening. Not at all.
I mean, it could be a heightened chance for your daughter as well. Like,
Who's gonna start the divorce?
either one of them could start the divorce.
Most likely it will have to be her.
Doesn't have to be necessarily.
Majority of the time, like off of statistics, if we're going off of numbers, yeah.
What's the numbers?
Numbers, what 80% of the chance, like 50% of chance of marriages end up with divorce. 80% of it happens from the woman, or 90, one of the two, but it's very high. It started from the woman.
I just feel like, I don't know, the double standards does bother me a lot. And I feel like in some situations, okay. But I feel like I just don't like it because I feel like we say like we don't want a woman that's ran through. We want someone who has certain morals and things like that about herself. But I feel like we can say that about women too. Certain women might have certain morals and like how she doesn't want her man to be, out in the streets and just doing whatever or fucking a bunch of girls. And people say like the vagina or a woman's, sexual parts or whatever has more value than a men's.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you guys birth babies, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's true, but we can't do that without a man.
No, I'm just saying like your body parts are more valuable than mine.
Okay, yeah, but I just feel like if a man is just sexually active and not really taking care or caution to what he's doing, he can just be giving his sperm to certain women and impregnating them and not really taking care or caution like he should be. I feel like
That's more of a personal thing, then. Because that's just being irresponsible.
okay. Well,
Because you could say the same thing about a girl. It's like, all right, like, yeah, she's just letting anyone just go in there willy-nilly, just none willy-nilly. Just like, oh.
yeah, and that's her personal choice as
it's a
well.
personal choice as well.
Like you said, that would be irresponsible for her.
For both.
I feel like someone who's so quick to just write a woman off or like, I don't know, just say certain things or condemn a woman based on certain things that she chose to do at a young age and still hold that against her at an older age. I feel like personally, I feel like it's a childish mindset, and I feel like
All right. So if you go
wait. I'm not finished.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not finished. I feel like it's a childish mindset because I'm a very spiritual person, so Christ, He is my Lord and Savior. I feel like He would forgive a woman of certain things she did. He already did forgive us for certain things that we did. I feel like if He can do that, then why can't people do that in certain situations? Not saying every situation, but I'm just saying in certain scenarios, as far as like sexual things or things that people do in their past.
So you're saying that if God could forgive, why can't we forgive?
I said in certain situations. I didn't say in general. When I'm not going to the extremes of killing people.
No, I'm not saying. I mean, he
like
would.
that,
He would. What you call it? He forgives sins for you're a killer. Yeah.
I know that, but I'm not saying in this situation. I'm just talking about like sexual things.
Shit,
Like,
God forgives. I don't.
then I feel like that's a personal thing that you have to deal
definitely is a
with.
personal thing.
Because why can't you forgive people?
I could forgive people, but it's just certain stuff. It's like, like you're cool, but I just know I'm just not gonna deal with you in that manner.
Well, yeah, like I said, it just depends on the person, the conversation, the maturity, and I don't know. Yeah. But for me, like I said, me personally, I'm not quick to write somebody off. I'm always willing to have that conversation, not saying that I'm going to put myself in a certain position with that person, but I always give people that chance, the opportunity, the right to speak for themselves, and you never know. Certain
So it's like
conversations can make you see things differently in your life, or you know.
so it's like the past, like the past shouldn't have mattered. So it's like, all right,
I didn't say the past shouldn't matter. I said that it shouldn't always negate you writing off a person completely. And in the conversation you said about a woman having trains rain on her in the past, and your my son coming to me in the future and saying that he wanted to marry this girl, I said I would have the conversation with him and explore why he felt like this woman would be a great wife for him. I would have that conversation with him because I feel like my son and even my daughter is owed their own opinion. They have their own hearts. They know they made that decision for a reason, and I want to know why. I'm not going to just condemn them, like I said, in that space and make them feel like their decision was the worst decision that they made. I'm not going to do that just because I know, like me personally, I wouldn't want that to happen to me, and I don't want to feel belittled or put down because of a certain thing when a conversation can be had to understand someone's mindset. But that's just how I am. So,
well, I think this is a good episode. Do you have fun on this?
yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Is there anything you want to say to the people? Do you want to give yourself a shout out or anything? Like plugging the information in?
Um, no, my name is Blessed again. I don't really have a shout out or anything like that, you know. So, yeah,
Thank you guys for tuning in.
thank you.